Man, all I hear these days is Oblivion this, Skyrim that, and Oblivion is already getting remastered? That only came out a few years ago. Oh wait. But believe it or not, there was once a time that neither of these games existed, and all we had was one of the best open world RPGs of the time, The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind. But it's been over 20 years since Morrowind was released. So where is it now? Well, it's in your hands. Or more specifically, your budget handhelds. That's right, Morrowind can now run on some of the cheapest handhelds you can buy, including the R36S and the BattleXP G350. And in this video, I'm gonna guide you through all the steps to get it set up and running as good as these little potatoes can do it. So strap in, equip that handheld, and let's learn how to run Morrowind. So first we'll need a retro handheld that's running Linux. For this tutorial, we're going to be using the BattleXP G350, which was sent over from our friends over at LidNXT. And as always, if you want to pick one of these up, there's a link in the description below. So this BattleXP G350 is running a Rockchip RK3326 processor, the same processor that's on a ton of other budget handhelds. But you don't specifically need this processor or this handheld. Here is your required inventory to follow this tutorial. First, you'll need a Linux-based handheld. If it's not running Android, you're good to go. And your device of choice needs 2 analog sticks, either built-in Wi-Fi or a Wi-Fi dongle and USB-C adapter. And finally, a Portmaster compatible firmware. This is more common with custom firmwares like muOS, Newly, Rocknix, ArkOS, and a couple other firmwares too. As long as you can find Portmaster in the menu, then your firmware is compatible. And you'll need to own a copy of Morrowind on Steam or GOG. Here's how to check if your handheld can run Morrowind. First, go to your settings menu and look for a Wi-Fi setting. And once you've connected to Wi-Fi, go back to the main menu and look for tools or apps. And then launch Portmaster. Once you're in the Portmaster menu, go to options, and then scroll down to System. We're going to enable experimental ports. So highlight it and then click A. Once it's enabled, go back to the menu, go to All Ports, and then scroll down to Morrowind. You can use the shoulder buttons to fast scroll. Once you find Morrowind, hit A to show more info, then hit A again to install. And once that's installed, we can quit out of Portmaster. Now you should see a port section on your menu containing Morrowind. But if you try to launch it, it just crashes. That's because we don't have the game's data files installed yet. So let's go do that. Power down your handheld and remove the microSD card. Then throw that bad boy into your computer. Alright, now hop on over to your computer and open up Windows Explorer. Then go to this PC and you should see a list of all your drives. Now let's go ahead and plug in that microSD card and you should see a new drive pop up that's around the size of your SD card. Double click into there, and if there's a ROMs folder, then double click into that. You should see a really big list of systems, but we're gonna scroll down until we see ports. If you can't find it, then go to the root of your SD card and in the search bar at the top right, type in ports. Open up the ports folder, and once you're inside of there, look for a folder called OpenMW. Double click into there, and then double click into the data folder. Now minimize this window because we're gonna come back to it soon. For the next step, we're gonna grab the data files from Morrowind. So you can do this in 2 ways. Both of them require owning the game in either Steam or GOG. If you own the game in Steam, you'll need to install it on your computer, and then we can grab those data files. If you own it in GOG, you can either install it on your computer, or we can use the GOG offline installers and install the game on our device instead of installing it on our computer first. I'd recommend the first method, just installing it on your computer and grabbing those files. Because I already have the game installed on Steam, we're going to use the Steam method. Open up your Steam library and look for the Elder Scrolls Morrowind. On the sidebar here, go ahead and right-click it. If you see the green play button, then you're good to go. If it's a blue install button, then you need to install Morrowind before you can do the next step. Hit Manage, Browse Local Files. This will open up our Morrowind install folder. Inside of here, you should see a folder called Data Files. Double click into there. Now put this window to the side and open back up that data folder from your SD card in a second window. You should still have it minimized from earlier. Next, we're going to select all of the data files from the Morrowind install folder and drag them over into the data folder on our SD card. This should take around 5 minutes depending on the speed of your SD reader. So if you're looking for something to do while you're waiting, I actually made a tutorial on how to install Oblivion on Android devices. So if you have something like an Android phone or Retroid Pocket 5, then you can literally have Oblivion in the palm of your hands. There's a link in the description as always. Oh, too late, we're back. And just like that, all of our files are transferred over, so we can close out of the Morrowind install folder. The last step we're gonna do is only on the microSD card. So you should be inside of that data folder, but we're gonna go up one to OpenMW. Inside of here, you should see another OpenMW folder. Double click into there. You should see a handful of config files. We're gonna open the one that says settings.base.cfg. Click it once to select, and then right click it, then select Edit in Notepad. If you're on Mac, you can edit it in Text Edit. Once that's open, we're gonna go to the first section under Video and look for the line that says Resolution Scale. We're gonna change this from 0.5 to 0.4. Reducing the resolution will make it look a bit crunchier, but help it perform much better, especially on a budget handheld. This next step is only if you're running a low-powered device like a BattleXP G350 or R36S, basically any handheld powered by an RK3326 processor. So we're going to go into our OpenMW folder and look for the settings.rk3326.config file. Click once to select, right-click, edit in Notepad. And in the wise words of the developers, this potato needs all the help it can get. So we're going to help it out. Select all of this text, right-click, copy. Now go over into settings.base.config, scroll to the bottom, then click at the bottom and hit enter a few times, and then right-click, paste. Once you've added these new lines, hit File, Save, then close out of Notepad. And the final step here is only if you're using a BattleXP G350 with ArkOS. By default, ArkOS thinks that the right analog stick is horizontal, so left is up, right is down, you get the idea. So we're gonna install a patch that fixes this and makes that stick work normally. All you gotta do to install this patch is download the fix in the description below, extract the zip file in a safe place like a downloads folder. Once it's unzipped, double click into the folder and double click into backup. Put that to the side and open up another Windows Explorer window. Go to this PC and double click on the boot drive. Scroll all the way to the bottom and then click on Image. Hold the Control key on your keyboard and select the RK3326 RG351MP Linux.dtb file. Right click on it and hit copy. Over in the backup window, right click and hit paste. That way we have a backup of those two files. Then go up one folder to the ArkOS updated kernel folder. Select both of the files in here, right click, copy. Back in the boot drive, we're gonna delete those old files, the image and RK3326 database file. Once they're deleted, right click and hit paste. This will copy in new versions of those files. And now we're all done on the computer, so let's eject our microSD card. Go to this PC and right click on the SD card, then hit eject. If you get this scary pop-up, just hit try again. Now throw that microSD card back into your handheld so we can get into Tamriel ASAP. Now go back to ports and launch Morrowind. But there's one final step before we start our journey into Tamriel, and that's to reduce the view distance just a little bit so we can once again squeeze a little more performance out of these budget handhelds. First, select Options. By the way, the left analog stick moves your cursor and the A button is to click. Navigate over to the Video tab, and inside of here, there's a Detail Level tab. Click on that. You should see View Distance. We're gonna reduce this to around 3000. It doesn't need to be exact. Click OK, and now, traveler, you can begin your journey into Morrowind. But as all perilous journeys unfold, you will reach an impasse. The almighty text input. Don't worry, the port developers thought of this. Just hold Select and R2, and then you will create an A. But this is no ordinary A. You can create a B or a C or any other character in the alphabet just by using D-pad up or down. And to go to the next letter, just push the D-pad to the right. And when you're done typing, hit Select and R2 at the same time again, and then you can use your cursor to confirm. And then, at long last, we can finally enter the world of Tamriel and play Morrowind just like you remember, at 15 to 20 frames per second. Don't worry, other parts are smooth and some parts get a little chunky, and this port scales really well if you have a slightly more powerful device.
Light work.
I found that it runs very smooth on the Powkiddy X35H, and it also runs pretty dang well on the Anbernic RG 34XXSP. I got reviews for both of those devices, so if you're interested in checking those out, you know what to do. So that's how you can play the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind on your budget retro handhelds, or even higher end handhelds too. They just need Linux, 2 analog sticks, and Portmaster support. If you found this video was helpful, go ahead and like it, subscribe for more tutorials, reviews, and handheld news, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions or advice on running this game even better on these handhelds. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later! If you like this video, you might have heard me mention that you can run Oblivion on Android handhelds. I made a whole tutorial on how to do this, so if you're interested in checking that out, you can watch the video at the top left now.